Wolverine has long been a fan favorite X-Men. With his tortured past and incredible skills, he's one of Marvel's most beloved anti-heroes. Logan's brush attitude, ability to survive even the most craziest injuries, and his retractable claws all add up for a fantastic character. For over 40 years, he's worn his yellow suit in hundreds of comics, including his own series. So let's get into the list today of 10 things you may not know about Wolverine. But before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more great videos. He's the world's first and greatest Canadian superhero. At the time of Wolverine's creation, comic books were just taking off in Canada. Marvel's editor-in-chief at the time, Roy Thomas, wanted to capitalize on the market with the creation of a Canadian superhero, and he approached Lin Vin about a Canadian hero in an issue of The Incredible Hulk with the two possible names, the Badger and the Wolverine. Thankfully, they went with the Wolverine. On his first full appearance, the comic book cover proclaimed, "He's here, the world's first and greatest Canadian superhero." He's not a member of the X-Men. Despite being a self-described loner, Wolverine is one of the most well-known and popular members of the X-Men. He was first recruited to the X-Men in 1975, a year after his debut in The Incredible Hulk 180, and since that time he appeared on at least 13 different Marvel teams. In fact, he's joined up with some of Marvel's most popular teams, such as the Avengers, S.H.I.E.L.D., and the Fantastic Four. He's a central member of the Alpha Flight, a Canadian premier superhero team, and is also a founding member of the Hard Seven and Jean Grey's Academy. Even with his healing powers, Wolverine has a weakness. A recent storyline sees Wolverine lose his healing powers, which makes Logan killable for the first time. But before that, Wolverine's healing powers protected him from some pretty serious injuries, like the time Hulk ripped him in half. He's also survived an atomic blast and getting run over by a steamroller, which might start to give him the impression that Wolverine is basically unstoppable. He was later modified after Clint Eastwood. Having decided against making Wolverine into an angry teenager with clawed gloves, Marvel went in a very different direction when turning him into a reoccurring character. Logan's gruff and adult appearance was revealed not too long after his initial debut, and that was that. However, as with Daredevil, it was Frank Miller who really defined the character as we know him today. He consciously drew inspiration from Clint Eastwood's appearance, something which could fit very well into a Miller-inspired comic book. And that's why we have the Wolverine of today. Hugh Jackman is way too tall to play him. Hugh Jackman's many appearances over the years as Wolverine have seen the Australian star of Chappie become a different version of the character in the eyes of most fans. It's not hard to see why either, especially as he's done such a great job right up from 2000's X-Men to last year's Logan. However, he's wrong for the character in one major way. The comic books have Wolverine as only 5'3", while Jackman is far more impressive at 6'2", and that's a big difference. He fought alongside Captain America in World War II. Despite being something of a mystery when he was first introduced, writers over the years have continued to add Wolverine's history. The fact that he has no memory of his past made it easy to add things, and one of the most surprising reveals was that he spent at least some of the World War II fighting alongside the young Captain America. Even Black Widow ended up factoring into one of these adventures. He was a wimpy kid. What X-Men Origins Wolverine didn't explore was that Wolverine was a sickly child who was the son of a rich plantation owner. Suffering from various allergies, the young Logan was declared a boy whose only friends were a young girl named Rose and a groundskeeper's son, Dog. For years, it was believed that Sabretooth was Dog, but it has since been confirmed that isn't the case. He murdered the X-Men. In the Old Man Logan storyline, the world's greatest villains all decided to team up and take over the world. How could they deal with Wolverine, though? Well, a huge group of bad guys attacked the mansion, and the X-Men sprung into action, brutally taking them all down. Only then it was revealed to be an illusion created by Mysterio. The people Wolverine had killed were the rest of the X-Men. Mentally broken, he attempted suicide by placing his head on a railway line and went into hiding. Everyone hates X-Men Origins Wolverine, including Hugh Jackman. X-Men Origins Wolverine is considered by many to be the worst film in the franchise. X-Men The Last Stand might give it a run for its money, as well as X-Men Apocalypse, but at least those films had a better cast. X-Men Origins had Hugh Jackman, a black-eyed pea, and the worst version of Deadpool. He lost a fight to Spock from Star Trek. In 1996, Marvel decided to print a Star Trek/X-Men crossover. When Spock discovered the mutants aboard an alien spaceship in typical Spock fashion, he calmly requests that they follow him to security. But before the words were even out of his mouth, Wolverine flies into rage and hurls himself at Spock. Using his Valkyrie neck patch, Spock drops Wolverine as soon as he's within reaching distance without much effort. So that's our list today. What did you think of it? Comment with your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more great content.